Woo! Early National Signing Day was crazy. Yesterday, we put together a phenomenal 7-hour stream going over the early National Signing Day, covering every single thing that happened. And obviously, with early National Signing Day, it's really, you know, sort of the wrap up of the college football recruiting cycle. So we really are getting to see the finished products of these teams' recruiting cycles. And with that, there's going to be some winners and there's going to be some losers. Now, we're going to be covering the losers of the early National Signing Day period in a video in a couple of hours, so be on the lookout for that. But today, we're going to be breaking down those National Signing Day winners. Starting it off, you cannot talk about recruiting winners without addressing the #1 recruiting class in college football, and that, of course, is none other than the Georgia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, of course, crushed their 2024 recruiting class, landing 3 5-star recruits in the #1 corner in the country in Elias Robinson IV, the #1 linebacker in the country in Justin Williams, and they flipped the #1 safety in the country from Florida State, KJ Bolden. They also landed 8 more recruits in the top 100 of the 2024 recruiting class, landing guys like the 8th best corner in the country in Andre Evans, the 6th best tight end in the country in Jaden Riddell, the 7th best corner DeMello Jones, the 5th best offensive tackle in Daniel Calhoun, the 14th best wide receiver in Natarian Tuggle, the 12th best defensive lineman in Nasir Johnson, the 11th best defensive lineman in Joseph Jonah Ajonye, and the 3rd best linebacker in the country in Chris Cole. They also landed the 2nd best wide receiver and the 9th best transfer prospect in the transfer portal in former Vanderbilt wide receiver London Humphreys. Now, don't get me wrong, Georgia has experienced their own hardships in the 2024 recruiting class, specifically in losing players to the transfer portal, losing guys like 4-star transfer prospect corner AJ Harris, 4-star transfer prospect corner Nyland Green, as well as linebacker Jamin Dumas Johnson and edge rusher Marvin Jones Jr. And that's just to name a few guys. Georgia lost actually a lot of talent in the transfer portal, but bringing in the #1 recruiting class seems to fix a lot of those issues. And you can't talk about Georgia's dominating recruiting without also talking about Alabama. Alabama has secured the 2nd best recruiting class in the class of 2024, landing 3 5-star recruits in guys like the 3rd best quarterback in the country, Julian Sayin, the 2nd best corner in the country in Jalen Mbakwe, and the 3rd best wide receiver in the class, Ryan Williams. They also landed 3 more recruits in the top 100, landing guys like the 17th best defensive lineman, Jeremiah Beeman, the 5th best tight end in the country in Caleb Odom, and the 3rd best corner in the class in Zabian Brown. On top of that, Alabama flipped hard-running 4-star running back Kevin Riley from Miami, as well as explosive 4-star athlete from Texas, Aaron Hampton. The Tide also landed the 16th best transfer prospect in the portal and the 2nd best defensive lineman, former Texas A&M defensive lineman LT Overton. All in all, Alabama addressed a lot of pieces that they needed to and secured yet another dynamic recruiting class. Next, I want to talk about the team that honestly impressed me the most on early National Signing Day, and that was the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks currently have the 4th best recruiting class in the class of 2024 and have landed 2 5-star recruits in the 2nd best edge rusher in the country in Elijah Rushing and the 4th best defensive lineman in the class in Aiden Breland. They also added 4 more recruits in the top 100 and guys like the 6th best corner in the class, Dakota Fields, the 6th best offensive tackle in the class in 6'8", 365-pound Jaquan McCroy, the 16th best wide receiver in the class in Jeremiah McClellan, and the 4th best linebacker in the class in Braden Platt. And just like Alabama, Oregon was in the mood to flip some recruits, and they flipped 4-star wide receiver Jeremiah McClellan from Ohio State and 4-star wide receiver Ryan Pelham from USC. On top of that, Oregon addressed their quarterback need the best hands down in the transfer portal. They're losing Bo Nix to the NFL draft. And to replace him, they brought in veteran quarterback from Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel. And then, the player that they actually wanted last year, they ended up getting in the transfer portal this year in former 5-star quarterback Dante Moore. All my Oregon Duck fans should be sitting pretty today because y'all went absolutely crazy on National Signing Day. Next up, we gotta talk about them Longhorns. They have been going absolutely crazy this offseason. The Longhorns currently have the 3rd best recruiting class in the class of 2024 and have landed 4 5-star recruits in the second best safety in the country in Xavier Falsam, the second best offensive tackle in the country in Brandon Baker, the 4th best linebacker Colin Simmons, and the 4th best wide receiver in the class in Ryan Wingo. They also added 2 more recruits in the top 100 in the 2nd best running back in the country in Jarrett Gibson and the 5th best corner Kobe Black. The Longhorns have also made big time additions in the transfer portal, landing 4-star transfer prospect from Houston Matthew Golden at wide receiver and 4-star safety from Clemson Andrew Makuba, and they're looking to be a lock to land the 3rd best edge rusher in the country in UTSA Trey Moore. On top of the fact that Texas is more than likely bringing back Quinn Ewers, and they were able to keep Arch Manning out of the transfer portal, this has just been Texas's year. I don't know what else to say. And last but certainly not least, you cannot mention what team made the most noise on early National Signing Day without bringing up the Auburn Tigers. Auburn currently has the 8th best recruiting class in the class of 2024 and have landed 2 5-star recruits in their new wide receiver duo, the 7th best wide receiver in the country, Perry Thompson, and the 2nd best wide receiver in the country in Cam Coleman. The Tigers also landed 4 more recruits in the top 100 in the 7th best quarterback in the country in Walker White, the 6th best edge rusher who they flipped from Florida, Jamonte Waller, the 5th best athlete who they flipped from Georgia, DeMarcus Riddick, and the 8th best edge rusher who they flipped from Florida as well, Amarius Williams. Auburn honestly surprised me the most during our stream because they did a phenomenal job of being able to flip Amarius Williams as well as Jamonte Waller from Florida, and then to be able to get DeMarcus Riddick and get every single one of their guys that committed to actually sign on the dot, especially their 2 5-star wide receivers. Also, there was rumblings that they're gonna be able to flip 5-star wide receiver Ryan Williams from Alabama. Auburn might end off the 2024 recruiting class with 3 5-star recruits. Hey, Auburn did a phenomenal job in their 2024 offseason retooling for this upcoming year. So those are my 5 winners of early National Signing Day. I want you guys to comment down below. Of the 5 teams that we covered, who do you guys think won early National Signing Day the most? To me, it's a tie between Auburn and Texas. Oregon's up there too, but I think the way that Texas and Auburn, with what they did with the pieces that they had, they did a phenomenal job. I want to hear from you guys though. Comment your thoughts down below. Leave this video a like and hit that subscribe button. Turn on all your notifications so you do not miss any of the fire videos that we drop on the channel. I love and appreciate each and every single last one of y'all. I know that we're going into the holidays. I know that, you know, family can be around and that can be stressful. I know that family might not be around and they might be lonely. I know that it could be a tough time for a lot of people. Know that you can always call upon Jesus. You don't have to, you know, oh, I haven't talked to God for God meets you exactly where you are. You do not have to make yourself perfect for him. The whole reason that we accept him is because he makes us perfect inside out. Love and appreciate all y'all. Hope that you have a super blessed rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.